Hi and welcome to Entertainment Extra with yours truly, Joe Crawford, here on RemicTV.com. Now, we have a great guest with us on the show. He's a motivational speaker. We're going to teach you all about how you can be more than what you are now. Richard Flint will be joining us via Skype in the studio, and I'm looking forward to be interviewing him. And also, he's a very snazzy dresser with great colorful shirts, and we'll talk about that too. Okay, you want to know how you can win some money? I'm going to tell you how you can win some money, okay? All you need to do is refer friends to RemicTV.com. And once they accept it and they sign up as well, that counts as ballots to your chance of winning $500 on RemicTV.com. And when the contest is over, that's right, it's going to end, we don't know when, but when it does, you can win $10,000. So invite your friends and make sure they sign up too, because that's the only way you can win money here on RemicTV.com. Now, this past weekend, I was very excited. I felt very Canadian-ish because I watched Canada's Got Talent. That's right, it premiered, and hopefully, I'm kind of in the talks with them right now that we can get some footage and actually interview some of the talent and the judges and the host on Canada's Got Talent. So I don't want to burst any bubbles yet, but we're in the process, and when we find out for sure, I'll let you know as soon as possible. And I have to say, maybe this is more the mean side of me and watching the America's Got Talent version, but out of the full hour, there was like only 3 of the X's. Come on. I know we're very nice, but we want to see more X's on Canada's Got Talent. Hopefully they're saving it more towards the end. I don't know. But you can't let everyone through, because then it makes it even harder to narrow it down. And this contest can go on forever. We don't want that to happen. A scientist says terrorists could explode a nuclear bomb in space and take out all of Earth's electronics. So that means no internet, no TV, no radio, no satellite radio. So friends, if that ever happens, I'll let you know where the back parking lot of Remix TV is, and I'll be shouting my shows for you instead. Dancing with the Stars is returning in mid-March. I have to admit, I haven't watched any of the shows, but among the contestants this year is soul singer Gladys Knight. Gladys Knight, wow, she was back from a long time ago when she was singing with the Pips, but she's kind of faded away now after she's had her pipectomy. Also competing on Dancing with the Stars is Jaleel White. And you're wondering, who is Jaleel White? He was the actor who played Steve Urkel back in the 90s there on Family Matters with the glasses and the suspenders, the nerdy kid. Look at him now. He's not really that nerdy. But I can still remember my dad watching Urkel and saying, son, one day everybody on TV will be annoying as this. And hopefully I'm not annoying you here on RemicTV.com. According to a study released this week, and it was in Toronto, it was released, rich people are more likely to cheat and lie and be dishonest. I would think it'd be maybe the poor people because they're stealing. But anyways, my rich boss tried to bribe me not to say this study, but shh, we won't tell him. These are bad times for the Costa Cruise Company. A couple weeks ago, if you remember correctly, one of their ships hit a rock and sank in Italy. This week, or last week, sorry, one of their ships caught fire in the Indian Ocean and drifted near pirate-infested waters. It's just a matter of time before a TV reality show comes out and it's called Survivor, Costa Cruises. Or if you're like me, Italian, Survivor. And another thing, pirate-infested waters. I never even knew that pirates existed except for Pirates of the Caribbean. But here's a pirate joke for you. What kind of movies do pirates like to go see? Rated R. And where do they go for a dinner date before going to the movies? Arby's. And experts say this year's flu season is off to a slow start. But I have a question. Why It was something that starts with running at the nose, end up so quick, running out the other end. Our fact of the day. I found this to be very interesting. Weddings are going to be coming up very soon, especially in May and June, and they happen, of course, throughout the whole year. And actually, some people actually got married on leap year, which happened this year, because it's a memorable moment they'll never forget. So does that count then if it's on leap year? Every 4 years is only one anniversary? Who knows? But anyways, did you know why people wear wedding rings on their ring finger? Yeah, no, I'm not giving you the finger, it's the ring finger. The reason why people wear their wedding rings on the ring finger, because it is the only finger that has a vein in it connected to the heart. So that's the only way you're going to get through my heart, is putting a ring on my finger. So says a girlfriend anyways. Stick around, because we have an extraordinary man, Richard Flint, who I got from bookingguests.com. Thank you very much, Laurel. I greatly appreciate your help on getting Richard here with us here on Entertainment Extra with Joe Crawford. Coming up right after this. Welcome back to RemicTV.com here on Entertainment Extra with yours truly, Joe Crawford. And joining us via Skype, I'm excited to have him on the show. He's a motivational speaker, an author, a mentor, a crusader, a golfer, heck, even a snazzy dresser. With all the power to be, Mr. Richard Flint. Welcome to the show. How are you, sir?
I am alive and well, healthy and fit and happy. How about you?
I am doing very well, thank you. Now, first of all, let's talk about motivational speaking. You travel the country, well, not even the country, you travel the world more or less, more than half of the year. What do you go around speaking about?
Well, I'm a psychologist, and what I deal with are all of the little intricacies in human behavior that hold people hostage. You know, the one thing about behavior is that the essence of truth is not what you and I say, it's what we do, because behavior cannot lie. So what I do is I work with people to help them to balance their words with their behavior, because if they're not connected, then we live in a world of frustration, a world of disappointment, a world with anger within ourselves. And but when the end of our life comes, we haven't achieved what we really wanted to do with our life.
Now, with that then, with achieving, can anyone achieve what they want to do in life?
No. One of the things we've taught for years is that what the mind can conceive, the mind can achieve. And that is not true, because the only thing you and I can achieve is what our talent level is. Okay. I watch people every day who walk into a world where they have no talent, because someone's told them they could do it.
It's like watching American Idol then, or America's Got
Correct.
Talent.
Right. When you watch some of these, the early performers there's no rhyme or reason why they're even there. But we live in a world where we teach people hype. We don't teach people enthusiasm. Okay. And there's a huge difference between those two.
Now, what's the difference between hype and enthusiasm then?
Hype is I come into your life and I create a moment of energy for you. But when you walk out of my life, you can't sustain it. So you get really excited in the program, you walk out, you're so excited you could carry your car home, and halfway home it falls on top of you. Why? Because we're dealing with you from the outside in. Motivation, enthusiasm is not hype. It is the inner foundation of belief in yourself. If you convince me I can, and then you leave my life, I don't have anything to reach out to. But if I live from the inside out, and I believe that I can, then that is me working with me. And by the way, there are only 3 things that can motivate a human life, and my name and your name is not on there. Number 1 is knowing that you matter. Okay. The number 1 thing a human life wants to know is that they matter. This is the challenge in the business world today. It's the challenge in most people's relationships. They go into these arenas, they never get hugs, mental and emotional hugs, and every day they give and every day they're depleted because they don't feel that they matter. One of my great philosophies is never stay anywhere in life where your presence isn't appreciated. The second thing that motivates people is living a crusade, getting up every day and going to a world where you believe you can make a difference. Now listen to me. Most people don't go toward a place where they think they can make a difference. They go to a job. I'm writing a dictionary right now that I'll have out in July at my summer conference. And I define a job as an environment that a human goes to every day where they prostitute themselves for a paycheck. They're not there because they want to be there. They're there because they have to be. That's not going to motivate them. The third thing that motivates a human is living their dream. Inside of every one of us is always a new person screaming to get out, wanting us to take the risk, to reach for the sense of adventure, to see what our life really is all about. But most people, because of fear, trap themselves in the circle of sameness. So they get up every day, they talk about what they want for their life, they even write goals, but they never achieve it. Why? Because that dream is really not alive within them. And every day they walk a path that brings them back to the same place they left that morning. And there's no motivation in that.
Okay, now you mentioned about fear with that then. What are they afraid of?
Well, it all comes back to 6 fears. From the day I was born to the day I died, from the day you were born to the day you die, and any of your listeners, we all live with 6 fears. The fear of the unknown. I'm not sure I can, so I stay where I feel safe. Where do most people feel safe? They feel safe in yesterday, not tomorrow. So they relive yesterday in today. The second of the fears is the fear of abandonment. If I make the decision I know I need to make, I may lose someone out of my life, and I can't be without that person. So now they're a prisoner. There's the fear of failure. Let me tell you, we have really over the years done a sick number on teaching people about failure. I doubt if anyone's ever told your listeners all emotions travel in 3s.
No.
This is why you never get to deal with one emotion. And when you look at success and failure, if the opposite of success, which is the positive, if I only have one opposite, then the negative is failure. Not true. There's a third word we don't bring. It's about success, failure, and defeat. Defeat is when life knocks you down and you choose not to get back up. Therefore, I live in a world of justification, blame. I live in a world where I don't want to be accountable for my life. All failure is an opportunity that didn't work. And every time you get back up, that's success. There's the fear of rejection. People won't like me. You and I have both seen people who ask people to like them, but they don't like themselves. So even if I like them, they're not going to like it. The fear of loss. This is huge today. Probably following on the fear of the unknown. The second biggest fear today is the fear of loss. Why? Because there's a price tag to everything you and I want to do with our life. And you will only go as far in life as you're willing to pay the price tag. And when the price tag becomes too big, now what do? You excuse and run to another direction. And then the fear of success. Number one with young people today. Because most young people do not understand success because the home didn't teach them success. The home didn't teach them a work ethic. It protected them from themselves, didn't hold them accountable. So when they walk out into the business world, because mom and dad gave them everything, they now feel they're entitled to success. And they don't know how to earn it.
Now, with those 6 fears then, what can be done to overcome those fears to be able to become successful?
There are 4 steps. First of all, you have to face the fact that the fear exists. I mean, a lot of people won't talk about their fears. I mean, when I was in the counseling room and was doing counseling, so many people would come to me, but they didn't want to stop and talk about their fear. They wanted to talk about their problem. Most problems are related to a fear. Okay. The second thing you got to do is examine where the fear is coming from. What is it in your life? What traumatic experience in your life created that fear for you? Then you got to admit you have the fear. And then the last step, which is the toughest, you got to replace it with success. You face the fear, you examine it, and then you admit it's there. And then what behavior do I need to change What behaviors do I need to improve that will unlock me from being held hostage by that fear? It's a process. And it's a process that not many people are willing to pay the price to do. I'd rather just say this is the way my life was meant to be than to actually work to have the life I need to have. It's like people who say, I'm going to go on a diet. And then one says, well, here's what you got to go do. Say, okay, see ya. So they're trapped in their world of sameness.
Now, it's very interesting on how you say all these things and how to become successful, because if you actually, well, you know about your biography because you lived through it all, but I've read a little bit about you, and you have encountered, like everyone else, some rough patches in life. You've had a hard life growing up, and but you've surpassed it all in order to become what you are now and to become famous. And by that I mean by being the psychologist and doing these motivational speakings. So do you think all that past experience was a big asset and help her out to help you where you're at today?
Absolutely. And people, well, for your audience, when I was 16, my adopted parents gave me a suitcase and told me it was nice knowing me. And I have physically been on my own since I was 16. Wow. I was born in New Orleans. If you could see my birth certificate where it says father, there's no name, no idea who he was. Only thing I knew about my mother was that she was a prostitute in New Orleans.
Oh my God.
So when I was 2 weeks old, I was given away. My birth mother didn't want me. My adopted mother didn't want me. And I was not a bad kid. I think, an exceptional child. But my mother was jealous of the relationship my father wanted to have with me. So at 16, I had to become responsible for my life. And people ask me all the time, would you go back and change this? Absolutely not. Because what it did is it allowed me to be the person I could be. Now, how did I do that? God put 4 people in my life at strategic times. Men in my life who, when I was standing at an intersection, not a crossroads, but an intersection in my life, they were there to give me the mental, the emotional, and the spiritual support that I needed and help guide me through it. This is why I believe that everybody needs a mentor, no matter how good you and I are. And a mentor is not a coach. I get really perturbed with all these people who run around the world today and calling themselves a coach, because what they do is they go into the life of a human. They deal in one room where you and I have 4 rooms in our life. They deal with one, mess up the other 3, and then I got to come in behind them and clean up the rest of their life. People need a mentor. A mentor is not someone who tells you where to go. They know how to ask you the right questions, and then they approach you with the patience and the understanding and the persistency to continue to help guide your life.
Richard Flint, we're speaking with here on Entertainment X Show with Joe Crawford and talking about success. And Richard Flint is his website, richardflint.com. And Richard tours all around the world. You can check out on his website where he'll be next. And you were just actually recently in Toronto earlier in the year, correct?
Yeah, well, I'm in Toronto every month.
Oh, nice.
I have a mentoring couple that I work with there. Was there. I'm going to spend the month of June in South Africa. I'll be in 19 cities and 22 days in South Africa in the month of June. I'll be in Honduras. I'll be in South America. I am all over the world, and with the opportunity to help people find the pathway to clarity in their life.
And with that, you also going to do that and helping them out. You've also written books to help people out as well. Exactly 17 to be exact. With your recent one, or the one we're going to talk about, is The Truth About Stress, which if you can show a picture of that, or there we go, The Truth About Stress by Richard Flint. Now, Richard, where can that book first be bought? Of course, maybe on your website, right?
You can buy it on the website, richardflint.com. But you can also get it in Amazon, Barnes & Nobles. It's in all the major bookstores.
Okay, so perfect. And that's all his other books too. Richard Flint, look him up. And it's very interesting because I want to say, what is the truth about stress? Without reading the book, a little snippet, what is the truth about stress?
All right, here's the major premise of the book. People who work to eliminate stress become stressful. People who learn to control stress enhance their creativity. Joe, if I could take all the stress out of your life, you'd be dead in 2.5 minutes. That is a medical fact.
Wow.
It's about the ability to control it. And the book deals with the 4 rooms of your life. Your business room, number 1 room of mental stress. Your family room, number 1 room of emotional stress. Your social room, which is your play room, which a lot of us don't have a lot of time for. And then your personal room, where you go to be by yourself, which is non-existent in most people's lives. But if people want to grow, the order of their rooms has to be this way. Personal room is number 1. Family room is number 2. Business room is number 3. And social room is number 4.
And a lot of the people, sorry to interrupt then, how do most of the people have their rooms set up then? What's the majority way?
Business room is number 1.
Okay.
And this is why it's so exhausting. Family room is number 2. The social room is number 3. And then the personal room, non-existent.
Oh, wow.
Because most of us don't have time for ourselves. And if you take a young lady, Joe, and she thinks about time for herself, she feels guilty.
That's true.
Because most of us don't make time for ourselves. We're going to do that when we retire. But yet, if all I've ever done is worked, and I don't know me, when I retire, I'm totally lost.
Yeah. And I've actually heard and seen actual proof of that, of people who retire. They're like, I don't know what to do with myself anymore.
Well, when I came here to Florida on the staff of First Baptist Church here as the minister of counseling, we were a little church, 7,000 members, and we had a 17-story retirement center. And if you moved into that retirement center, your last stop was an hour with me. And I can remember doing this when couples would come to me when they'd leave. I would mark and drop into his file how long I thought he would live. 67% of the time, I was correct within 6 months.
Wow.
Because most men and most people today, they don't know how to relax. They know how to gather stress.
Right.
They don't know how to unwind, so they just wind tighter. And in my book, what I do is I go into each of those rooms. I show the major stressors in each of those rooms today and how to learn to control, not eliminate. Anyone who tells you you need to eliminate that from your life wants you dead. It's not about eliminating, it's learning to control the stress in your life.
Now, with that, that's interesting to say then, because I'm an only child, and myself personally, I have to take time for myself. I enjoy, and I mean, I don't do it all the time, but once in a while, and I know what I like to do, and that's like my de-stressor, a way to get rid of it. Do you find that only children are better at doing that than people who have siblings?
Well, the answer to that is twofold. Number one, it depends on the relationship they had with their mom and dad.
Okay.
Where if they lived a life where they always felt they had to prove themselves to their parents, then no, they're not. Because that need to prove to be the perfectionist just increases your stress. But if you had a healthy relationship in your home growing up where mom and dad allowed you to be you,
yep,
then you didn't feel the need to prove yourself. So you got to be the individual that you were rather than working real hard to become the person your parents wanted you to be.
Well, thank you, Mom and Dad. Now, Richard, I want to talk a little bit about with your speaking engagements. Along with that, you do a radio show once a month, correct, on Lifeline?
Lifeline Radio, yeah. And it can be connected right off of my website. When you go on the website, up in the right-hand corner, there's the plug to Lifeline Radio.
And the website is richardflint.com, and you also have a blog, Thoughts to Treasure. Now, I do want to go over a couple things which I found like could be like the next 12 days of Christmas line here. That you had 29 hotel fires that you were involved in, 19 flights on which people died, 5 planes hit by lightning. Maybe that's why you have a lot of energy, baby, here. 4 people vomited on you. That's got to be disgusting with you being on the plane. That's really bad. 3 earthquakes, 2 hurricanes, and 1 huge flood. And to even add, you were in a cab one time in Washington, D.C., and the cab driver was arrested, or you were arrested?
The cab driver was arrested, and I was left sitting in the cab.
And you were, oh my gosh, okay, and then you got attacked by live lobsters that got loose on a plane. It sounds like the sequel to, like, the snakes on a plane. And your laptop got completely ruined by an overzealous coffee-pouring flight attendant. My goodness, I love storytelling, and I go, we could probably do a whole hour, if not longer, on everything that's happened. but wow, you've experienced it all, I think.
Yeah, one of the books I'm working on right now is a compilation of the stories I've collected in this is my 34th year on the national speaker circuit. And I do basically 175 to 190 presentations a year all over the world. So, I've collected lots of stories.
Yeah.
But it's all part of the price tag. I mean, if you're not willing to pay the price for anything you do, then you show up not wanting to be there. I mean, if you came on air and you didn't want to do this, you think the listeners would pick it up in you and your demeanor?
Oh, no, exactly, no.
Yeah, but what I see as I'm watching you, there's a love affair you have with what you're doing right now.
Oh, thank you.
And that love affair comes out through your energy. Study people's energy because energy is behavior. And their behavior tells you everything you need to know about them. I am known for my philosophies. And one of the things I'd really like to mention to your listeners, I have a thing called the Morning Minute, which every morning you turn your computer on, and I'm there with you for 60 seconds, 1 minute. I give you one of my philosophies of life, and I give you a piece of wisdom to set your mind for the day. And with that, you are mentally and emotionally prepared for whatever that day brings you. And over the years, for 37 years, every morning when I get out of bed, I write a philosophy that governs my life for one day. Like my philosophy this morning, listen to what you know, not what you fear. Listen to what you know, not what you fear. And I'm known for my philosophies. And of all of the ones that I've written, the most powerful really only has 3 words to it. Behavior never lies. That the essence of truth is what someone says. It's not what they do. Because what you and I do can many times be contradicted by our behavior.
And RichardFlint.com is the website you can get the Morning Minute on, especially all his information as well, and his books. And Richard, we can go on and on and on, but I do want to just top on one last thing here, which I think is really interesting. You are known as a man of many different colorful and wacky tops, I should say. I won't say t-shirts, but tops. They're your performance shirts. And
yes.
What got you into trademarking that for yourself?
I love color. I mean, I used to wear suits. Every suit I own has 5 ties to it, all different colors. And whatever I wanted to create with energy, I would wear a tie to do that. One day I was in a store in Las Vegas and I saw this shirt. And I fell in love with it. Excuse me.
That's okay.
And I started saying, you know what? I want these shirts. So I started buying shirts. And then all of a sudden, people started sending me swatches of material. And if I liked the material, then they would send me enough to have a shirt made. And I have a shirt maker here in Palm Beach who makes all my shirts for me.
Nice. That's pretty cool.
And so that's become my trademark.
That's awesome.
Like I've got 9 new shirts being made right now.
That's awesome. Now I gotta ask you: has anyone said that you look like John Madden?
Yeah, that and a couple other people that I've been compared to. But yes, John Madden is one.
Well, RichardFlint.com is the website. I want to thank you very much. I'd love to have you on the show any time again. You're more than welcome to come into the studio, or we can do it via Skype again. And by all means, you're a very colorful character. I want to go into more stuff, but unfortunately, today, time doesn't allow us to do so. But Richard, when you're in the Toronto area, or if you ever come to Niagara Falls area, I would love to hang out with you, have lunch sometime, and we can just sit down and talk.
I would love to do this again with you. Just contact Laurel and let's put it together, because there are a lot of things we could talk about that would help your audience.
All right. Thank you very much. RichardFlint.com is the website. And again, I do want to personally thank Laurel from BookingGuests.com who've put us together and had Richard be a guest on our show for all you listeners out there. Keep it tuned here on Entertainment Extra with Joe Crawford on Remix TV, as we'll be right back right after this.